Hello! So I've gotten a chance to check out the armor changes in both PvP and PvE, and I am thoroughly happy with the changes. I think it is a massive improvement for the game because it removes an element of RNG from the gameplay. The fact that, oh, you have really good plates, that maybe they'll protect you, maybe they won't. Oh, you're bringing bad ammo? Well, maybe you'll get a lucky connection, maybe you won't. RNG-based gameplay does not work for Escape from Tarkov. Tarkov needs to have a focus on preparation-based gameplay. For example, upgrading from a level 4 plate to a level 6 plate because you know it will protect you. And maybe instead of bringing M80, you bring M61 because if you encounter threats that have high-end armor, you need to have high-end ammo to counter them. This kind of preparation is what Tarkov is all about. Preparation-based gameplay is miles better than RNG-based gameplay. So this change is excellent, and I'm very, very happy about it. Okay, so this video is going to be divided into 3 sections. The first section, I want to talk about the differences in gameplay that I've noticed since the changes. The 3 main things to talk about is the time to kill has been increased, so it's easier to survive ambushes. Armor actually protects you now, so when you invest into armor, you feel like you get your money's worth. And the armor changes has rebalanced ammo, so high-end ammos are now more valuable and lower-end ammos are less effective. For the second part of the video, we're going to be talking about what to prioritize when looking at armor and what's important in determining whether an armor is good or bad. And in the third part of the video, we're going to be talking about which armors I like, I would recommend, and I think are good in the current version of this armor system. Let's get into it. The 3 things that I've noticed while playing is the time to kill has been increased. So ambush play is a bit less effective, meaning if you get ambushed, there's a higher chance that you'll be able to survive, and you can enjoy the mechanics of the game as you actually fight the other player, rather than just dying in a high-stakes game of hide-and-seek, which is not very fun. Why am I stuck? Okay, so armor is good. Oh, his helmet tanked the shot. Our armor tanked that M62. 2, it has given armor more value. So now when you spend the money on a level 5 armor or level 6 plates, you feel like there's a higher potential to get value from your purchase, rather than being like, oh cool, I invested money into getting a level 5 armor with level 6 plates, and I died to a shotgun scav who shot me with a slug in the armpit, and then feeling like, well, armor doesn't matter, nothing in this game matters, this is annoying and frustrating. Well, now it feels like armor actually has value. So when you make an investment into a level 5 armor or level 6 plates, there's a higher potential to actually get value from doing that. So it makes armor feel like it's worth spending the money for it. He's on that side. He didn't like that. Let's see what he did to my chest. How's my armor looking? Yep, he like really messed up my front plate. We can swap these. Hey, at least we didn't die to Mall Cop. Let's see what ammo he shot us with. Oh, a Goldnick. Okay, so he did have really good ammo, just our armor actually did something for us. And the third thing, it has increased the value of high-end ammos. For the majority of this wipe, people have been able to get away with using bad or entry-level ammos because the majority of our character was covered in level 3 armor or no armor at all. So why would you invest the money or spend the time to craft high-end ammo if the lower-end ammo or entry-level ammo got the job done? So this armor change actually has done a good job in rebalancing the ammo as well. So for example, M80 is an entry-level ammo that you can buy in bulk from the traders at level 4. M61 is a high-end ammo that you have to craft. So now there's an incentive, there's a value on crafting M61 because M80 doesn't put people down the way that it used to, because our character is actually protected. Two or just one? The armor didn't seem to make much of a difference there. Nope, there's another. Keep throwing them. Uh-oh. Well, team of 3 down. See what his Karund did. His Karund took the shots pretty well. Yeah, we zeroed his front plate. Well, that's pretty much all the evidence I need. Yay! Yeah, that wasn't too bad at all. We took out a team of 3. Did I kill any scavs? I don't think I did, right? We can see how many hits we did and how much damage it was. I don't think it's going to be too dramatic compared to, like, normal. Yeah, so we only took out the 3 players. We didn't get any... 2 of them we took out with a Thorax. We didn't shoot any scavs. So we got 3 players. How many shots did we do? Hit count 22. Okay. So across 3 players, we hit them 22 times. So I guess that is kind of a lot. 22 hits is quite substantial. So it was 522 damage to the body, 748 damage to the armor. So their armor did really good work for them there. Even though I was using M62, you can see that I did more damage to their armor than to them. So their armor really, really worked. Cool. Yeah, so I guess armor in PvP is not too bad, actually. So to recap, time to kill has increased, armor now has value, and high-end ammos now have a purpose. And lastly, but most important, all of these changes have made it so that gameplay is less RNG dependent and more based on preparation. All right, so that brings us to the second part of the video. What makes an armor good in this new armor system? There are 3 main things that I'm going to talk about. The first and most important is your front plate. Front plates provide a lot more coverage as their hitbox has been increased substantially. They don't only cover your front, they also cover stuff like your armpit as well. Secondly, make sure you're using armors that have level 3 soft protection. That is the highest rating that soft armor can be. And third, something I didn't know about until recently, checking to see if that soft armor covers the front plate or the thorax. You want it to say that it covers the front plate because that is a larger hitbox, so it gives you more protection. Also, side plates can be very valuable, and I think having them should be a priority. All right, so starting with your front plate. The front plate is the most important part of the armor. Thankfully, you can switch them out, you can upgrade them, you can improve them, and it's a really big deal because this whole wipe, we've always talked about armors that are good have coverage. Well, now in this new armor system, every front plate gives you a large amount of coverage. It covers the whole entire front of your character, partially your neck, your collarbone, your armpit, and partially the stomach. So front plates now provide a large amount of coverage. So as a high-level player, you should always be using a level 5 or a level 6 plate. Again, the way the armor system works is the greater the number, the greater the protection. So 6 good, 2 bad. However, the health points of the plate is also very important because a damaged level 6 plate will not give you level 6 protection. So that brings into consideration the materials that the plates are made out of, because we want to know how is the plate going to survive taking fire and also how does it repair. Take for instance the Zhuk. This is one of the best armors in the game. It has level 3 throat protection, it has level 3 stomach protection, but you can only fit into it ceramic plates, and ceramic plates don't repair very well. So if you take fire, this plate will only really last you maybe 2 or 3 raids. If you get this back from insurance, which now plates are going to be taking a lot more damage because they're actually absorbing shots, if you get this back from insurance and it's zeroed, you're going to have this plate for 2 raids, basically. So this is a really great armor, but the ceramic plates that you put in it are very bad. So the plates that I really enjoy that hold up and repair really well are any of the plates made out of the material ultra high molecular weight polyurethane. Those are my favorite kind of plates. They repair very well and they hold up to fire nicely. Now, the shape of these plates are different, and that used to matter. Now, when you have a front plate, it occupies the front plate hitbox. So as long as you have a plate in the armor slot, it is giving you full coverage. It is covering that whole entire hitbox, regardless of the shape. The only way that the shape of the plate matters is if you can put it into the armor slot or not. If it fits into the armor slot, it covers the whole hitbox. If it doesn't fit in there, you can't equip it. So with the Zhuk, for example, you can fit the diamond style plate into the front slot, but the Western style plate you cannot. So if you're going to use armors like the Zhuk, your front plate is limited to ceramic plates only, which can be considered a weakness of the armor overall. So with front plates, you want them to be either level 5 or level 6 protection, and you want them to be made out of a material that repairs well, because now that they cover more of your character, they're going to be taking damage more often, and repairing them is going to be a bigger deal, either at the end of the raid or when you get the armor back from insurance. Next, we're going to talk about soft armor. Now, when it comes to soft armor, level 3 is the best that you can get, and level 3 is what I would look for in what makes an armor good. Because imagine you're wearing a DRD level 3 armor, and on top of it, you're wearing a level 6 hex grid. So you're wearing 2 body armors at the same time. That's what these armors with level 3 soft achieve. So when a round hits a player's thorax, it needs to do a calculation to determine if it will penetrate through the plate. And if it does, then it loses some of its penetration power when it does another calculation of if it will penetrate the soft armor underneath it. This is why layering armor is so incredibly important, because if it penetrates through one, it might not penetrate through the other. This is particularly useful when your front plate starts to take multiple hits. As your plate becomes more damaged, it is more likely that the next round to hit it will penetrate, and that's when the soft armor check can be most useful. When a round penetrates your plate but is caught by the soft armor, so it is still transferred as blunt damage rather than a clean penetration. So one question we must address is, how do you tell if an armor has soft armor, and what level is that soft armor? So here's 3 examples to show that. So here we have 3 examples. This is an HPC plate carrier. It has no built-in soft armor at all. So once the plates are removed, you can see that its armor class is level 0. Next, we're going to look at the TV-110. This has level 2 soft armor, and the soft armor covers the front plate and back plate. So when you mouse over it, you can see that the armor points are level 2 for the chest and the back. That means this area here and this area here. It shows you the HP of these areas. But what these areas protect are your front plate and your back plate hit boxes. Next, we're going to look at the CPC, which is one of the best armors in the game, maybe even currently the best armor in the game. When you look at it, you can see the armored areas are the left side, right side, front plate, back plate. And when you mouse over the armor, you can see that it is divided into the chest, back, left side, right side. That means these areas here. So when we put the plates back into it, when we mouse over it, you can see the distribution of where the armors are. We have soft armor on chest, back, left, and right. And we have plates on the front, back, and the left and the right. This means that the 4 largest areas of our character, the front, the back, the left, and the right, all have 2 layers of protection. They have level 5 plate protection and level 3 soft armor protection. So the last thing to talk about with soft armors is how they are assigned. And to do this, we're going to look at an example being the Thor CRV and the CPC. When you're looking at these two armors side by side and you glance at armor points, you can see that they both have level 3 soft armor. The Thor's soft armor has less health points, but they are both level 3. They cover the chest, the back, left side, and right side. However, when you mouse over armored areas, you see different things. With the Thor, it covers your thorax, stomach, lower back, and upper back. But with the CPC, it says front plate and back plate. These are different hitboxes. And now that they've done this armor rework, what you want to see on your armor is front plate and back plate, because the front plate hitbox is larger and it protects some of the more vital areas of your character. So in other words, what this means is the soft armor of the CPC protects your character's armpit, and the soft armor of the Thor does not. To put it into simple terms, that's basically the difference between how this soft armor is assigned. If you see front plate, back plate, it means you have armpit protection with the soft armor. If you see thorax, it means it's only the front of your character. Now, when you put in a plate, that plate will cover the area. So you could strategically say, the plate will protect my armpit, the soft armor will protect my stomach and other regions. You could decide to do that, but I think it is more beneficial to double up the plate and the soft armor in these more upper torso areas to protect your thorax. Because if your stomach gets zeroed, you live. But if your thorax gets zeroed, that's the end of your raid. So that's why I would prioritize doubling the armor layers in the upper torso area to give the thorax better protection. Last thing for you guys with what makes a good armor, side plates. Some armors have the ability to have side plates, some armors do not. Take for example the Killa armor versus the Gzhel. Both of these take the same style front plate. Currently on screen, both of these are set up with a level 6 plate in the front, level 5 plate in the back, and for the Gzhel, it has level 6 plates on the sides. If I had to choose between these two armors, I would choose the Gzhel every time because it has side plates, and the side plates are very important to me. Because it means on my character's side, I not only have level 6 plate protection with this setup, I also have level 3 soft armor. Whereas with the Killa, I only have level 3 soft armor protection, so I'm a lot less protected from the sides. This is most important at the start of an engagement. So think about it like this. When another player starts shooting at you, what is usually your response? It's usually to turn 90 degrees and sprint either left or right. Well, that moment when you turn your character, you are exposing your side to the player who's shooting at you. So that is the moment where side plates to me make all the difference. So side plates for me are very important, and basically to me, if an armor doesn't have side plates, it doesn't qualify as a good armor. One more thing for you guys. When you look at the weight of both of these armors, you can see that the addition of the side plates do not make the Gzhel ridiculously heavier than the Killa. So in terms of how much these armors weigh, both of these are very acceptable. Now, there's another stat to focus on, the movement speed penalty. The Killa has a negative 4.5 in this setup, while the Gzhel has a negative 6. This is in the realm of totally acceptable. This is totally fine, not a problem. This is only an issue with some armors because the movement speed penalty is so massive that it basically makes the armor unusable or not recommended for use. Because the thing is, if you're a sitting duck, the armor's not going to save you. You need to be able to move around in a combat engagement. So movement speed is also a very important factor to consider when determining which armors are good, which armors you want to buy, which armors you want to use, which armors you want to craft, like the Giga Chad CPC. Not only is it a weight of 6.7-ish kilograms, it has a built-in rig and a movement speed penalty of -3. The CPC is seriously one of the best armors right now after the changes, and it's what I would recommend. I really like it. It's a great armor. And the fact that you can just craft it at your hideout, it just makes it even better. It's easily accessible. You just need to purchase the Hex Attack HPC plate carrier from Ragman level 4. It is a barter trade. You trade 3 rollers for it. What are these guys actually called? The rollers? Yeah, roller submarine gold watch. You trade in 3 rollers and you get 2 plates. That means you can craft 2 CPCs from doing one of these barter trades. It is easily accessible. You can have them crafting all the time, and it's probably the best armor in the game right now in terms of balancing mobility and protection. And that brings us to the third part of the video. Which armors would I recommend? Boom! And here they are. These are the armors that I would recommend. All of these armors have level 3 soft protection. All of these armors have side plates except for the Defender, but only the CPC Mod 1 and the CPC Goons Edition have the soft armor assigned to front plate and back plate. So when we're looking at these armors, the question is, which ones are the best, which ones are the worst? It's organized top to bottom and left to right. So the ones at the top are the best, the ones at the bottom are the worst, but all of these armors I would consider acceptable. So let's go through them and talk about them a bit, starting with the CPC. The CPC Mod 1 I think is the best armor in the game right now in terms of balancing protection and mobility. It is very lightweight, it has a nice built-in rig, and it is easily accessible as you can craft it at your lavatory station in your hideout. So the way you obtain it is you got to do the craft, but it is well worth it. This is one of the armors where the soft armor is divided into front plate and back plate, so that gives you additional protection. It starts with very lightweight level 5 plates. It's just a great armor. I would definitely recommend this as being the #1 armor that people should use. The CPC Goons Edition. This comes with Talcum Guardian plates, which I do not have in the armor right now. I have a similar weight plate to show how much the armor would weigh with its original plates. So this is a heavy armor with the plates that it comes with. I would replace the Talcum Guardian level 5 plates with the plates that are in the CPC Mod 1. So if we do that, you can see that the armor changes from about 12.7 with the real plates that it comes with to being around 7.6 when you put the Mod 1 plates into it. That means when you have both armors with exactly the same plates, the CPC Goons Edition is heavier. So the Goons Edition armor is actually heavier when all the plates are the same. One little tip that might be important to know is that suggesting swapping the plates is actually not as unreasonable as it sounds, because the Goons are a 3-man team, and the CPC armor spawns on night. Big Pipe, however, spawns with the SNS Precision plate carrier, and his armor actually spawns with these lightweight plates. So if you manage to take out the Goons squad, you can just swap over the plates from Big Pipe's armor over to Knight's armor, and you'll have a CPC Goons Edition with the lightweight plates. Additionally, the Goons Edition has a different rig, which I think is not as useful as the Mod 1's rig. This is how the rigs compare, and the big difference for me is that the Mod 1 has a 2x2 box, which you can use for helmets, motors, fuel, and the Goons Edition does not. That is the difference in the rig that makes me prefer the Mod 1 more than the Goons Edition. So the Goons Edition is actually pretty similar with the Mod 1. It even has the same thing where the soft armor covers the front plate and back plate for better protection. But the Goons Edition is heavier when you have the same plates in it, much heavier when you have the plates that it comes with, and the rig, in my opinion, is less useful. So the Goons Edition is pretty good, but I would prefer the Mod 1 instead. Lastly, the way you get this armor is you have to find and kill the Goons. This armor is worn by Knight, and the only way to get this armor is by killing him and taking it from him. So obtaining the armor is more challenging and less reliable, compared to the Mod 1, which you can just craft in your hideout. The Osprey, the level 5 Osprey. This is one of the better armors. It comes by default with Talcum Guardian plates. This is what I needed for the Goons Edition of the CPC. Okay, so the Goons edition with the Talcum Guardian plates, which is what it's supposed to come with, weighs 12.7, like I was suggesting. If I knew I had these, I could have just, yeah, it was fine. The level 5 Osprey. This is still a good armor, even though it's a bit heavy, and it has a kind of a harsh movement penalty at -8. By default, it comes with Talcum Guardian plates, which you can replace with the more lightweight plates. Let's go ahead and do that. So by default, it is 15.9 kilograms with a -8 movement penalty. When you swap over the CPC plates, it is now 10.8 kilograms with a -6 movement speed penalty. One important thing about the soft armor of this is it does cover your arms and it covers your throat. The CPC does not cover your throat, but this armor does. That being said, if you remove the plates from this, you will see that the soft armor is distributed to the thorax and the stomach, upper back, lower back. So it does not have the same distribution as the CPC, where it is assigned to the front plate and back plate. So you do not get as much armpit protection with this. However, you do get arm protection. So the arm protection does partially cover the armpit hitbox. The real issue with this armor is the weight and the movement speed penalty. However, the benefit of this armor is it does have level 3 throat protection, which the CPC does not. So if you need level 3 throat protection, this armor might be a good choice. This armor has it. Additionally, the rig is nice and it does have a 2x2 square for helmets, power supplies, whatever 2x2 item you want to put in here. So the rig is nice and usable. You can get the level 5 Osprey from Peacekeeper level 4 as a barter trade for 3 SAS drives. So 3 SAS drives and you got yourself an Osprey level 5 armor. Next up, we're going to be talking about the Zhuk and Gzhel. For all intents and purposes, these are basically identical except for their starting plates. The Zhuk starts with level 6, the Gzhel starts with level 5. One thing that's interesting about the Zhuk is the back plate of the Zhuk is the Kiteco plate. This is the lightest weight level 6 Western style plate. So I basically use this plate for all of my PvE setups. So if you see a Zhuk, make sure to grab the back plate so that you can use it in another armor. That being said, when you put the same plates in the Zhuk and Gzhel, you can see that they're basically identical. They weigh the same, they have the same movement speed penalty, they're basically the same. Both of these armors are found in raid only, or you can buy them from the flea market. And I think they represent the best in complete protection while still maintaining mobility. So they do have level 3 throat protection. The two downsides of these armors is one, the level 5 and level 6 plates for these armors are ceramic only. So they're very brittle, they take damage quickly, and they don't repair very well. So as a comparison, I was using a CPC during this Raiders spawning on customs event, and 35 raids in a row I was using the same armor and the same plates. So after 35 raids of me getting shot by the Raiders, the plates are around 73% integrity. However, if I was using a Zhuk or Gzhel and I was using the ceramic plate, it would only really last me like 2 or 3 raids before the integrity of the plate would be so low that it needs to be replaced. So that's one of the biggest weaknesses of this armor is the ceramic front plates. I can't over-exaggerate or emphasize enough how poorly these repair, so here are a couple examples to show you the difference. Alright, so here we have a CPC with front and back plates zeroed and 2 Gzhels with the front plates zeroed. So let's go ahead and get these plates out so you can see them in a line. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to repair these 4 plates. All 4 of them are zeroed. All 4 of them still have the maximum HP as their repair value. And then we're going to compare them. We're going to see how much of the integrity of the plate is left and how many more raids we can potentially do with them. All right, let's see what the results are. Here are the 4 plates repaired from 0. The GAC plates that you'll find in the CPC Mod 1 are on the left, and their plate integrity is still in the green. They repaired very well. These plates will last many more raids. If they get zeroed every raid, maybe they'll last like 15 to 18 raids. But as long as, like under normal conditions, these will probably last another 25 to 30 raids. Meanwhile, the ceramic plates from the Zhuk and Gzhel, these are the level 5 ceramics. Their integrity is around 64%, which is not very good at all. These probably need to be replaced. If you want to stretch them, these could probably last 1 more raid, maybe 2 if you're lucky. But already in the condition that they are, I would be looking to replace these. And that's a problem, because the ceramic plates of the Gzhel and the Zhuk, they are more of a consumable than an investment. And because of that, that is a massive negative for the armor overall. Just as a fun little thought experiment, I was thinking to myself, how damaged does a GAC plate have to have the same percentage integrity as the ceramic plates from the Gzhel that we just repaired 1 time from 0? The GAC plate would have to be at 29 out of 45 durability to have the same percentage integrity. So if you see a GAC plate that's under 30 health points, it's time to replace it. And you should replace it by using it to craft a brand new CPC Mod 1 from your lavatory. CPC is great. I'm telling you, it's so good. When your plates get worn out, you just craft a whole entire new armor with the plate. Anyways, the second big negative of the Zhuk and Gzhel is still related to the plates. Let me show you. This is a little trick that I've been using in raids, and this happens frequent enough that this is important to talk about. So let's look at our CPC Mod 1. Let's say you're in a raid and your front plate gets really badly damaged. Like here it is, 9 out of 45. In raid, if you move your armor to your backpack or throw it on the ground, you can swap these plates in raid. That way you can put your back plate as your new front plate. You will have adequate protection for the next fight that you get into. You cannot do that with the Zhuk or the Gzhel. The front plate is this unique diamond shape. So if your front plate takes massive damage while you're in raid and you slide your armor to your backpack and you think, okay, I'm gonna switch my back plate to the front. You can't do it. The item is incompatible. This happens enough that it is worth mentioning, and I would think this is a strong negative to the Zhuk and the Gzhel. The fact that when your front plate gets damaged or zeroed, you basically have to leave the raid without any front plate protection. Whereas with armors that have the same style plates in front and back, you can swap your plates and you can keep going in the raid. I think this is extremely valuable. This little trick, I use it quite frequently. It is a very nice thing to know. And it is a strong negative of the Zhuk and Gzhel that you cannot do this because of the unique design of the front plate. Let's say you want an armor with Western style plates. So you're like, cool, the CPC is nice, the Osprey is nice, but those are armored rigs. For my loadout, I need to have my rig and my armor be separate. What armors would you recommend? Well, here they are. If you are planning to change the plates, the Thor CRV is the best for mobility. The Gen 4 is the best for protection. The Redut is a backup to the Gen 4 if you're on PvE, because the Gen 4 you can only buy with GP coins. And the Defender is really good if you're planning to not change the plates. Quickly before we get started, when I pull these armors up, we're going to have the default armor with the plates that it comes with on the left. And we're going to have the fully modded armor on the right. The plates that I'm using are, for the front plate, we are using the Kiteco level 6. For the back plate, we are using the GAC lightweight level 5. And for the side plates, we are using these green level 6 side plates. And this will be the same for all of the armors. So again, the default will be on the left. The fully modded will be on the right. Starting with the Thor. By default, this armor comes with level 4 plates that I would definitely swap out. You can get this armor as a level 2 barter trade with Ragman for 2 small diaries. This armor has level 3 soft protection. However, its armor zones are low HP, so over time this armor would need to be replaced as the zones deteriorate and take damage. This does provide level 3 stomach protection, but it does not have throat protection. However, from a mobility standpoint, when you have it loaded as I do with a level 6 front plate, level 5 back plate, and level 6 sides, the movement speed penalty is minus 3.5 and the weight is 7.4 kilograms. So it is a lightweight, high mobility armor. Just the negatives are no throat protection, and its HP zones are relatively low HP, but it does have level 3 soft protection. The Gen 4. I said that this was the best for protection. Technically not true. I think the Redut is actually better. However, it is worse in terms of weight and movement speed penalty. So I would pick the Gen 4 over the Redut like any day. That being said, the Gen 4 is only available as a GP barter trade, or you can get it from the flea or from enemies. So there's not a reliable way of obtaining it in PvE mode. Looking at the armor by default, it weighs 15 kilograms and has a movement speed penalty of minus 6. When you change up the armors to the plates that I like, it comes out to be 13.6 with a movement speed penalty of minus 5.5. So the good thing about the Gen 4 is it does have level 3 throat protection. So if you need throat protection, this has it. It also has level 3 stomach and groin protection. So this is a highly protective armor, but the negatives of it, the downside, is that even with changing the plates, it is still pretty heavy, and the movement speed penalty is it's still in the realm of acceptable. So it's not that bad. The Redut. Much like the Gen 4, this covers a lot of areas like your throat, your groin with level 3 soft protection. However, the Redut is the heaviest out of the 4 and the most penalizing in terms of movement speed. You can get the Redut as a level 4 barter trade with Ragman for 2 books and 4 manuals. By default, the Redut's weight comes out to being 15.5 kilograms with a movement speed of minus 7. With my plates, it comes out to being 13.42 with a movement speed penalty of minus 6.5. The benefit of the Redut is its soft armor zones have more HP than the Gen 4. The negative is that translates to having more weight and being more penalizing in terms of movement. That being said, the Redut is available to get in PvE mode. You can get it pretty reliably from the barter trade, whereas the Gen 4 you really can't since it's a barter trade that uses GP coins. So the Redut is similar to the Gen 4 except kind of worse in every way. Except technically it's a bit more tankier. It's a bit tankier. That's the positive. Lastly, the Defender. This is best if you don't want to mess with plates at all, because by default, it has pretty good plates, it doesn't weigh too much, and the movement speed penalty is not too penalizing. The downside of the Defender is there is no side plate protection. You cannot put side plates into this armor. The way you get the Defender is it is a level 4 barter trade with Ragman. You trade him 1 sledgehammer for the armor. By default, it comes out to weighing 11.5 kilograms with a movement speed penalty of minus 4. Which really isn't that bad at all. That's pretty good. With my plates, it comes out to being 9.1 kilograms with a movement speed penalty of minus 3.5. Of course, the Defender is lacking side plates. So if you compare the Defender to the Thor, a Thor with upgraded plates weighs less and has an equal movement speed penalty, but the benefit is you have side plates. You have level 6 side plates. But the Defender is really the only armor that can compete with the Thor in terms of movement speed and weight, while still offering throat and groin protection. The trade-off with the Defender is, yes, you are well protected in the front with throat and groin protection, and it still maintains reasonable weight and movement speed penalty, but the trade-off for it doing that is it has no side plate protection. That is the trade-off with the Defender. Because if you compare the Thor to the Gen 4, the Gen 4 weighs 5 kilograms more and has a 2% increase in terms of movement speed. So it weighs 5 kilograms more and it has 2% more movement speed reduction, with my good plates and everything on top of that. So when you compare the Thor to the Redut, it's even worse, because the Redut is 13.4 kilograms with a movement speed of minus 6.5. So actually, let's take a look here. When you're comparing the Gen 4 and the Redut, it looks like the Gen 4 is actually a little bit heavier, but you save 1% movement speed. And I think that 1% movement speed is worth it for the, 0.2 kilograms? That's actually really interesting that the Redut is actually lighter when the plates are all the same. That's very interesting. But the movement speed penalty is still worse on the Redut, so my vote would be the Gen 4. In conclusion, to wrap up my thoughts on these 4 armors, if I am going to spend the time and money to load up one of these armors with level 6 plates, I am grabbing the Thor CRV for the mobility. If I am looking for just a quick level 5 armor to grab and go PvP, I will grab the Defender because it's very good protection from the front. If I am looking for the most protection possible, I am grabbing the Gen 4 or the Redut. So there you have it. These are what I would call the best armors in the game. After the armor rework, I think the CPC Mod 1 is number 1 in my heart and in game. It is so good. The plates are good. Even if you want to upgrade the plates to level 6, it's good. If your plates are worn out, you can just start a new craft with them. The CPC Mod 1 is seriously like the best armor in the game right now. And here are all the alternatives that I consider good if there's something specific that you're looking for. So armed with all this knowledge of the game changes and the armor and all this stuff, go get some gear, go get head-eyesed, and have fun in your raids, you know? Have a great time. Tarkov is a game, so at some point in time we should be having fun, right? So get out there, have some good raids, and have fun. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all I got for you. I think that's everything I have to say or report on the armor situation in Tarkov. So have a good one. That's all I got for you. All right, see you guys. Bye-bye.